Are you doing? Welcome. My name is Nidhi. I and I know I'm coming live after a very very long time. Have been really busy. चलो पहले थोड़ा introduction कर लेते हैं. For those of you who might be joining me for the first time or possibly watching my the recording for the first time also. Hi, I'm Nidhi, proud mother of a young man, creator of my own life, a lifelong seeker, and omnivore, a textile professional turned a communication skills trainer, an emotional clarity coach, and an author. And I love calling myself a human skills trainer because I'm working with humans and I'm working with skills that are unique to everybody. And आपको जैसा क्यों लगा कि मेरा वीडियो ऑफ हुआ था? Well, if you're there, okay, so it's saying there are some connection issues. If you are there, can you just write down if I am visible? I have no idea. If I am visible, मेरी आवाज आ रही है आप तक, तो please do write in the comments, right? So, and do write, where are you joining from? How has life been? So it's been a while. I think it's been 3 weeks that I didn't come live, and not that it was intentional, but the last 3 weekends have been really busy. I've been busy upskilling myself, busy adding some more skills to my more feathers to my hat, I should say, like that. So trying to bring in a better experience into my trainings, and that's what I am learning to do. So yeah, so that's what's kept me busy, and thoda personal commitment bhi tha over one of the weekends. But I'm back, and I am back today to share with you something really important. I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, and that's what you all know me as. And as a trainer and a coach, we all, I'm sure every trainer and a coach would understand that we all end up with a lot of mistakes we do. Sometimes we are searching for the best methodologies, best ways how we can actually engage our audience. लेकिन हम लोग बहुत गलतियां कर देते हैं and realize नहीं करते हैं. So today I'm going to talk to you about 4 major mistakes that any trainer and coach can do. And some of these are what I have made myself, right? एंड अगर आप ट्रेनर और कोच नहीं हैं तब भी मैं आपको बोलूंगी कीप वॉचिंग वाई बिकॉज एट सम पॉइंट इन टाइम एट सम स्टेज इन लाइफ in your career you are actually communicating with somebody and you और ये जो भी मैं आपसे आज बात करूंगी this is going to help you in your professional life. You don't have to be professionally a trainer and a coach, but even in your workspace you are a team member, and all of this can really help you. Right? So let's start. Super. And do write in the comments आप कहाँ से join कर रहे हो. And if you have any questions, keep interacting because the chat box is the only way how I can interact with you. Right? Okay. So सबसे पहली mistake. And along with this, मुझे ज़रूर बताइएगा if these are the ones that you have noticed when you have attended trainings or something that you have noticed in yourself or you are making these mistakes or if you've overcome. ठीक है, so please ज़रूर से लिखना. So the first mistake, which is not just for a trainer but for everybody in life, is I know it all attitude. Right? So this is the first mistake that any trainer and coach can make, is to say or feel or think, I know it all. See, when we approach something with this kind of I know it all, ये comment हमने बहुत सुना होगा, शायद बोला भी होगा, मुझे पता है. लेकिन जब आप इस स्पेस से आते हो, you have stopped learning. राइट यू डोंट हैव एन एम्प्टी कप. आपको वो कप भी तो एम्प्टी रखना है ताकि उसमें कुछ और नया जा सके. अगर आपको सब कुछ ही पता है तो फिर तो कोई बात ही नहीं है, सब खत्म है वहां पर. राइट इट इज एन एटीट्यूड ऑफ अ शॉर्ट टर्म थिंकर. If you say I know it all, your experience with your audience during training as a trainer is going to be really a miserable one, because you're coming from a space where you are convinced that I know it all, though that's not the reality. You will not be able to listen clearly what's really coming up from the audiences and आपके participants की तरफ से क्या आ रहा है. राइट. सो द स्मॉलर योर रियलिटी इज, आपकी असलियत में जो रियलिटी, जो असलियत है, अगर वो बहुत छोटी होगी ना, यू आर मोर कन्विंस्ड दैट यू नो इट ऑल. Okay, this kind of an attitude is also an internal way of telling yourself I'm the best. So many people affirmations तो करते हैं, लेकिन उस चीज को एक गलत एंगल दे देते हैं. It's a sign of a bloated ego, the negative side of ego. Ego good भी होती है, by the way, but I'm talking about the negative part of it, right? So how can you tackle it? Because if you know it all, आप सुनोगे नहीं, आप समझोगे नहीं, आप सीखोगे नहीं. So what can you do with it? You have to be open minded. यू हैव टू बी रेडी टू लिसन, क्योंकि उस ट्रेनिंग के दौरान, उस कोचिंग सेशन के दौरान, उसके दौरान आपकी बहुत बातें होंगी. अगर आप अपने फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट से आ रहे हो, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू लिसन टू व्हाट योर पार्टिसिपेंट्स वांट, व्हाट डू दे वांट टू से. और अगर आप वो सुनोगे नहीं, हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू हेल्प देम, राइट? सो इफ यू कम फ्रॉम अ स्पेस ऑफ आई नो इट ऑल, please try and understand there is a lot more to learn. There's a lot more to adapt. There's a lot more to absorb. During any session, things cannot go as planned all the time. There may be times जब आप कुछ और प्लान करके गए हो, लेकिन वो चीज नहीं हुई है. अगर आप इस स्पेस से आओगे, then you would want the whole control, which is good, but you will not be able, you won't be flexible enough to move that particular session in the direction you wanted. आपको शायद कुछ चेंज भी करना पड़ सकता है उस आउटकम तक पहुंचने के लिए. सो बी लर्नेबल, be learnable, be ready to listen, be open minded, be ready to adapt. Simple ways how you can deal with this. Okay, be humble, grounded. That's very, very important. So if you're making this first mistake, I know it all, think twice, think again. What's happening? Go back, understand your sessions, observe them, think about those sessions, reflect on them, and see kya hua hoga, and are there signs of anything that's not going right. Okay, so that's the first mistake. Do right if that is something you've noticed in any of the people, any of the trainers that you have attended sessions with, or possibly you have made that mistake. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second one happens, especially in today's times, when over the last 2.5 years, जो बताती हूँ मैं कौन सा है, 2.5 years में सब कुछ online था. Now, when everything is online, it's not easy to engage somebody only by speaking. So trainers have started using a lot of PowerPoint presentations. पहले भी होता था, over COVID, during the lockdown, during COVID, when everything was virtual, it became more. And that is the second mistake that most people do. Too much of content, right? Too much of content. मुझे सब कुछ देना है, मुझे ये भी देना है, मुझे वो भी देना है. We search like crazy over the internet. ये भी वो भी, ये point भी अच्छा है, दूसरे के session में मैंने ऐसा देखा था. I think this is something I want to add. We have so much to give, and we forget. इतना देंगे तो उनको याद कैसे रहेगा? Do you think that anybody can remember everything that you're sharing? No. Any participant can only have 3 major takeaways from any session, छोटा या बड़ा. पूरा दिन का सेशन है, या हाफ डे का सेशन है, या 1 day का सेशन, 1 hour का सेशन है, whatever it is, usually people have 3 major takeaways, and they can only understand and possibly take away and remember 1/3 of your presentation. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं उनको याद रहता है. So that is one of the mistakes that most people do. Too many slides, too much of content on the slide. ओके, सब कुछ डाल दिया, इतना नॉलेज दे दिया, एंड वी आर सो हैप्पी अबाउट इट. सारा टेक्निकल नॉलेज दे दिया, एंड वी आर हैप्पी अबाउट इट. मैंने अपना काम करा, बिल्कुल बेस्ट किया, आई नो सो मच, मैंने सब दे दिया उनको. बट did they really have a nice experience? So sometimes too much of content can stuff up your participants. That is another major mistake that most of the people do, because it's not about the content. It is about how you're delivering that content. Content itna bhi ho और उसको आप experience उनको इतना भर भर के दे सकते हो, that is the power you have. Right. Recently, I attended a program, and I had done my upskilling, and I'd done a certification program. It was a 4-day program. Content शायद इतना होगा, but my experience was this much. I think it's an experience of a lifetime, राइट. इफ आई स्टार्ट सीइंग कंटेंट तो मैं कंटेंट के पीछे बोटू बैठूंगी तो फिर कैसे चलेगा. बट आई अंडरस्टूड व्हाट आई डिड because my experience was created in a manner the way that content was delivered. So please, if you are a trainer or a coach who's focusing only on content, please understand it's not just about the quantity, it is about the quality, right? So अपने content को तीन हिस्सों में divide करिए. What they need to know, what is nice to know, and what you can avoid. Once you understand the importance of these three parts, please focus on what they need to know. आपका ज़्यादा time वहाँ पर spend होना चाहिए. And secondly, what you can do is how you wish to deliver. Do you only want to talk, 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 talk? Or do you want to show them just PPTs? मैंने बहुत सुंदर सी slides बना ली हैं, देखो भाई मेरे PPT देखो, सब कुछ देखो. It can get boring after a while, but how are you engaging your participants in it? That is very, very, very important, right? So talk about, think about gamification activities. आजकल बहुत कुछ है करने को. I'm sure if you're a trainer or coach, you are aware of it, but see how you can use that. एक छोटे से concept को समझाने के लिए, rather than having slides, have games, have activities where they are engaged. आपको अपना बचपन याद है जब प्रैक्टिकल क्लासेस होती थी? वी यूज्ड टू लव प्रैक्टिकल्स, राइट? साइंस प्रैक्टिकल्स. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी वर डूइंग समथिंग देयर टू अंडरस्टैंड अ कॉन्सेप्ट, वाइल वही चीज क्लासरूम में बैठकर हमसे नहीं समझ में आती थी. सो कंटेंट दीजिए, लिमिट दीजिए, लिमिटेशन में दीजिए, बट गिव देम एक्टिविटीज टू एंगेज विद दैट कंटेंट. Okay, and focus more on doing rather than just giving it all as slides or handouts or whatever, right? And focus on what environment, what experience do you want for these people, right? So that's the second mistake that many people do. So the first one was I know it all, the second is too much of content, and the third one, many people miss out on this one also. Many people miss out because this is really really important. कंटेंट भी अगर कम है तो भी चलेगा, लेकिन अगर ये नहीं है ना तो कुछ नहीं चलेगा. यू कैन बी a technically very sound trainer, but if this is not happening, your training is a fail. And this is connection with your audience. Many trainers fail to connect with their audience, the participants. What are signs? Connection nahi hai. Two verbose. Tick 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 blah 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 blah. They're going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. वही बोले जा रहे हैं, बोले जा रहे हैं, बोले जा रहे हैं. There's no passion, there is no energy in your own self. आप बस आए हो, आपने अपना रट्टा मारा हुआ है, and there you are, you're done. There is no interaction with your audience, with your participants. There is a very weak non-verbal language. आपका expressions, आपका body language, it's just not connecting. It's not reaching out to the audience. It's negative. You're ignoring the audience. आप उनके साइंस जो आपको दिख रहे हैं ड्यूरिंग द मीटिंग, ड्यूरिंग द सेशन, द लाइफ साइंस दैट यू आर सीइंग, आर दे yawning, आर दे गेटिंग बोर्ड, इज देयर अ लॉट ऑफ डिस्ट्रैक्शन, आप उसको नोटिस ही नहीं कर रहे हो. और जब आप वो नोटिस नहीं कर रहे हो तो कनेक्ट कैसे करोगे, चेंज कैसे करोगे अगर कुछ चाहिए होगा, राइट? सो दीज आर मिस्टेक्स, वेरी वेरी कॉमन मिस्टेक्स that many instructors, many trainers, many coaches do because they're not noticing these signs. Nervousness itni ho jati hai, many times many coaches, they're so nervous facing an audience themselves that it shows in the way they are with them, with their audience. It shows in their own energy, and believe me, energy is contagious. उसके लिए आप अगर अपने चेहरे पर स्माइल भी ले आए ना, लेकिन अंदर से नर्वस एनर्जी है बहुत ज़्यादा, or you're in self doubt, you will not be able to transfer what you have on the face. You'll be transferring what you have inside. The negative aspect of the energy will be transferred, right? So क्या कर सकते हैं इसके लिए? Feel your content, please. Don't just prepare a content. उसको समझो, वो चीज करो जो आप बात कर सकते हो. You have to feel and enjoy what you're talking to your audience, to your participants. You have to enjoy with them. आप उनको नहीं कह सकते हो ओके 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 लेट्स डांस, खुद भी करो। अगर आपका कोई एनर्जाइजर है उनके साथ आप इंजॉय करो। इफ दे आर डूइंग एन एक्टिविटी, बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट एक्टिविटी विद देम, right? So you have to enjoy it first before asking the audience to enjoy and be interactive. Change your inner state, बहुत ज़रूरी है to change your inner state, because if you change your inner state, will you be able to transfer the same to others? Right? हम लोग दूसरों से मांगते हैं, but we don't walk the talk. So another thing that you need to do is walk the talk. If you ask for respect and trust from the audience, you have to provide the same. It needs to come from you. That credibility, that trust in you as a trainer, from where will it come? आपसे ही आएगा. Okay, so be very very careful on this, that you're walking the talk. जो आप अपने ऑडियंस से मांग रहे हो, आप वही चीज कर रहे हो. आपके पास स्टोरीज भी तो होनी चाहिए ना वही चीज बताने के लिए. कितनी देर तक फेक कर लोगे? You will not be able to fake it. Your connection will only be formed when you're true to yourself. Another thing, talk with your audience, not to your audience. Okay, uh, talk with them, not to them. Mostly हम लोग उनके mostly लोग बात करते हैं, they talk to people rather than having an engaging conversation. Okay, so this is something. And how to engage? Ask questions, connect करो, जानो उनके बारे में, smile करो, right? Add more humor. All of these things will spice up your sessions. ओके, आपके अंदर वो स्पार्क बहुत जरूरी है दूसरे के अंदर से वो स्पार्क लाने के लिए. So please understand, where are you coming from? What's your internal state and what is it that you need to do? So please connect with the audience. That's very, very, very important. Be confident about who you are and go for it. It's perfectly fine. So मैंने आपसे 3 के बारे में बात किया है. I know it all. Too much of content and connect with the audience. And now coming for the fourth one. Okay, the fourth major one. ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ ये चार ही हैं. What I'm talking about, there are a lot more, but the fourth one, these are 4 major ones which can make or break your training session. You all know the fourth one? The fourth is missing the point. किस लिए हो वहां पर? You totally miss the point as a trainer or a coach. Why was I there? Why am I there? Hey, thank you, Abhinav. Thank you so much. I'm glad making some sense here. So, why are you there? आप आइडिया है बहुत. I've seen many coaches. I've interacted with so many of them, and sometimes when a project comes up, everybody is ready to take whatever is coming up, right? So जो भी आता है हम कर. Many people just accept it just the way they are, but without understanding कि आप वहां पर क्यों जा रहे हो. What does that mean? It means you forget to even know what is the outcome or what are the objectives of the training or the session. What do you want out of it? Right? It's very important to know what do you want from that particular training or a session or a coaching session. See, for me, the first thing that I do whenever any kind of training comes up to me or any kind of query comes up to me, sometimes for a personal coaching session also, what I simply do is I ask them, why do you feel, what is the pain area, क्या क्यों ऐसी जरूरत आपको आ रही है. I can do that training, that's perfect. उसके बाद मेरा questioning start होता है. I ask a lot of question about my audience. If it's an individual I'm dealing with, or if it's a group I'm going to be dealing with, I ask a lot of questions. What is it that's then what made that particular need come up? What's the pain area? What is it that they've seen? Who are those people? What do they do? What do they know? कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? Background क्या है? क्या किया हुआ है? All of these questions are very important to know, क्योंकि उसके बेसिस पे मुझे अपने outcomes और objectives का आइडिया होगा और मुझे प्लान किस तरीके से करना है, that I'm going to come to know. Right? So I am not there for myself. I am there for my audience. Please understand that if you are there for your audience, and if you understand that you are there for your audience, only then can you do the best. Otherwise, you've missed the plot. एंड लेट मी टेल यू, नो ऑडियंस, कोई भी ऑडियंस का मेंबर, आपका कोई पर्सनल क्लाइंट है, इंडिविजुअल क्लाइंट है, या आपका किसी टीम के साथ इंटरैक्ट कर रहे हो, वहां पर कोई भी ऐसा इंसान नहीं होगा जो ये चाहेगा कि आप फेल हो जाओ. Every person sitting in that room where you're training somebody wants you to win because they want to win. And that is the reason it's important for you to understand the other side. Okay, you're not there to teach all the time. Yes, there can be some technical trainings where आपको एक नया concept उनको बता रहे हो जो market में आया है, or something that's just coming up. You're teaching. That is something different. But most of the times, as a trainer, you might have been asked to refresh. पानी भी stagnant हो जाता है ना, तो वो सड़ने लगता है, बहुत stagnancy आ जाती है. The same way, when we are working, we go on autopilot mode. That's the time you need to refresh and energize, re-energize. And that's the reason, that's your job as a trainer many times. You are there to spice up their job, in the sense that bring in some new energies, give them some new tools, some shortcuts to make their work more effective. That is why you are there for many times. So understand unki kya need hai. Okay? So that's very important. Ask enough questions about the audience, the participants on the other side. Very, very important. Ask questions. Think how you can give them the best experience that they will remember. जिसके लिए उनको notes की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़े, जो उनके अंदर absorb हो जाए, वो करके समझें. Right? Focus on ways how you can engage them, how you can add value to their टाइम देयर, बिकॉज वो भी अपना वक्त, अपना काम छोड़कर, वक्त निकाल कर वहां पर आए हैं. सो everybody wants value out of the time that they've invested, right? So these are the four major points. And also, if you've understood the point, missing the point, अगर आपने समझ में आ गया है ना, you will be able to prepare better. How will you prepare for a great training session when you have no idea about the clients, if you have no idea about उनको चाहिए क्या, right? Otherwise you can land up with a different planning, and when you go there you're like, oh my god, was this what I'm supposed to do? यहाँ पे तो कुछ और ही requirement है. Okay, so might as well पहले ही आप समझिए. It can help you. Yes, sometimes you can be caught unaware. Be adaptable at that point in time so that you can actually be flexible and be adaptable. यहाँ पर आ जाता है I know it all वाला attitude नहीं, learnable attitude, how you can engage and get the best out from the audience. Okay, so these are the four major mistakes that most of the trainers make, and that was I know it all, too much of content, connection, no connection with the audience actually, and the fourth one is missing the point totally. Now I want to know, इसमें से कौन सी four major mistakes में से कौन सा है जो आपने किया है, if you're a trainer or a coach, and possibly you've overcome it, or something that you have been doing still. शायद आपको कभी mistake ना लगी हो, लेकिन शायद आपको अभी समझ में आया हो कि हाँ I can do it better, or you have attended sessions where you notice these mistakes. What was your experience? Write it down in the comments. But these are not the only ones, only mistakes that trainers and coaches make. There are a lot other mistakes that trainers and coaches make. Some of them are lack of preparation. कुछ पता ही नहीं है, prepare नहीं किया, मैं कर दूंगा, super confident, over confident actually I should say, and they go ahead. Not taking feedback during sessions or after the sessions. बीच बीच में feedback लेना पड़ता है, कभी कभी आंखों से feedback लेना पड़ता है, समझ में आना चाहिए energy कैसी है room में, right? So feedback, not knowing how to handle difficult questions, not managing the changing energy. अगर आप एक full day session ले रहे हो, the energy is going to change. Okay, लंच के बाद, ब्रेक्स के बाद एनर्जी बहुत स्लो हो जाएगी, कोई ऐसा पॉइंट आएगा जो कनेक्ट नहीं कर रहा होगा. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन इन द रूम एंड हाउ इज इट दैट यू कैन लिफ्ट इट ऑल अप. सो ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. यू लूज द प्लॉट एंड द स्ट्रक्चर, दैट्स अनदर प्रॉब्लम. शुरू कहीं से किया, एंड कहीं पे जा कहीं रहा है, एंड कहीं और हो रहा है. सो यू लूज द स्ट्रक्चर, आपके हाथ से कंट्रोल निकल गया है. यू आर नॉट सेटिंग द रूल्स, दैट इज अनदर थिंग. You do not set the rules in advance. नहीं तो इतना commotion हो जाएगा बीच में, how are you going to handle it? So certain rules need to be there. You're not, as a trainer, you are not managing time. There's lack of time management. You're not acknowledging your participants. Everybody is there for learning something. Acknowledge them as much as possible. If they answer, if they communicate, acknowledge them. You're not, possibly you are calling out the wrong responses, responses which I might have been aggressive, responses which might have been negative. You start calling out, आप blame game में चले जाते हो, आप aggression में चले जाते हो. That is another mistake many trainers do, क्योंकि I know it all, how can you question me? So yeah, attitude again, this is another mistake that happens. And having boring content or not knowing your content too well, so ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी mistake है. So if any of these mistakes is something that you are making, or possibly you have overcome, please write, please share what has it been for you. And yeah, and how do you approach your training sessions? If there's anything I've not covered, do write down any other mistake that you have noticed, so do write that down. And I hope this short live helps you to understand if you are making any major mistakes or not. And I'm going to see you next week sometime, and I'll come up with something that can help you again. So take good care of yourself. Have a wonderful week ahead. And if you have any questions, write in the comments or connect with me on a personal window. If you're on LinkedIn, you can connect with me with a direct message. If you are joining on YouTube, you can either leave a message, or you can check out the description where you can connect with me on the other platforms and message to me directly. Right? Cool. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and do that. There is some valuable stuff right there. So take good care of yourself. Thank you so much for giving your time. And thank you so much for watching the video. I'm going to see you very soon again. Take good care of yourself. Bye bye.